Hello friends, today is Thursday, September 25th, and it is Flosstube episode number 20. So it has been a year since I've been on Flosstube. I hit my 1 year Flosstube anniversary, however you want to say that, earlier this month, I think September 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. And so today I thought that I would go through all of most of the projects that I've completed over the last several years. I actually shared a lot of these on my very first Flosstube, so some of these you will have already seen. And then some of them I've finished in the past year since I've been on Flosstube, so you will have seen those as well. There is one project that's currently in progress that I'm going to share with you at the end, and that is my tiny Modernist Halloween calendar, the Advent calendar that I'm working on. But I thought I would film this way with the camera facing down here on my project table, just so I have both hands and can move the items closer to the camera and kind of showcase those items a little bit better. In no particular order, just some fully finishes, all Halloween themed, and I will get started. This one is, the first one that I thought I would start with is the very first cross-stitch project that I completed when I got back into cross-stitching. So when my oldest was probably 6 months old when I was really getting into cross-stitching and stitching on plastic canvas and that sort of thing. I made a lot of ornaments for the Christmas tree at that time, and we still put them on the little Christmas tree that sits here in our craft room every year. It has all kinds of homemade things on it. And then I kind of fell out of it. And then around the pandemic in, I think it was early 2021, I came across a cross-stitch magazine, just cross-stitch, like the special edition release that they come out with every year. I can't remember what year that this pattern was actually in it, but it was on the front cover, and I saw it, I think, probably at Barnes & Noble in the magazine section. So we were just looking for some things to do because we were trying to, just kind of stay home more with the pandemic and everything. And so we were looking for just things to do with our hands, little crafting projects or whatever. And this pattern was, like I said, on the front page of the Just Cross Stitch Halloween magazine. And it's called Current Mood by Autumn Lane Stitchery, and I instantly loved it. So I'm a huge fan of jack-o'-lanterns, and I love this little solemn cat here. I just thought it was a really cute play on the different jack-o'-lanterns with the cat. I fell in love with it instantly. Purple is my very favorite color, periwinkle to be exact, and I really loved this fabric. So I actually decided to just stitch it exactly as called for. So I chose the 28 count Lugana in the color Pansy by Picture This Plus, and I used all of the called for floss. So the fully finish is one that I had professionally framed, and I just love how it turned out. I'm actually really proud of myself for finishing this at that time, just jumping back into cross stitch after having been out of it for so long. I don't even know if my stitches are all the same way. There's probably, if you look close enough, there's probably some flaws in here, but that's okay. I love it so much. It's one of my favorite pieces. I did have it professionally framed from Hobby Lobby in this, just this plain black frame. So this project is very special to me because it is one of the first ones. It is the first one that I fully finished and had frames after I got back into cross stitching. So I'm really happy that I came across that pattern. Since then, I purchased the actual pattern in the cardstock just to keep it because with my other patterns, because I loved it so much. The next one that I will show you is probably a little difficult to show on camera, but I will do my best. This one is the Lizzy Kate Halloween Rules pattern. I don't have the actual pattern here. This is just a screenshot that I found online because I actually gave away all of these patterns after I finished stitching them. And so I had chosen to stitch each of these individually, and I created a banner out of these, and the banner hangs in our smaller dining room during this season, and I will show you how that turned out. So I actually, there's so many pieces to it that the banner would have been too long to create like one long strand of pieces. So I actually separated it into 2 rows. I'll share some pictures of it hanging, like I said. But the center of the top row is the very top of the pattern. And how I finished these, so I stitched them all with the called for floss, DMC. This is, I want to say 14 count vintage country mocha for the Ada and for the fabric. And like I said, I used all the called for floss. I didn't make any changes, I don't believe, to any of the pieces. I just stitched them as the pattern called for. And how I finished these, I can pop in some footage of actually how I made this. So these are just little cutouts, wooden cutout pieces that I created the shape. I came up with the shape for the banner, and then I sanded them and I painted them black. And then I took each of the stitched pieces and I just cut them down with these pinking shears. And then I put some of the iron-on batting on the back of them. And to finish the back sides, I just folded the pieces over, hot glued it. And then this is actually, the back is like a felt sticker that I just pulled the backing off and cut it to size and mounted that on the back just to kind of cover up the back side there where the pieces came over and were glued. And then I just used some black string that I got from Hobby Lobby to string it all together. And so I will show you these here up close. And then, like I said, I'll share some pictures of the whole thing finished and hanging in our dining room. So this one was Wear a Costume, and the patterns, actually, if you buy them, they come in like 2s. So the first pattern was Wear a Costume, Eat Candy, and that was one pattern that you could buy for both of those sayings, Wear a Costume and Eat Candy. And then these 2 were together, these 2, and so on. So the first one was this Wear a Costume. I don't think the rest of them are in order, but these 2 just happen to be. These little pieces here are some just little Halloween cutouts that I found on Etsy, wooden cutouts, and I spray painted them all white because I really liked the black and white theme. I have a lot of black and white in my Halloween decorations that you will see in a Halloween fall Halloween home tour that I'll share in the coming weeks. So it goes really well with my decor, and I really liked that. And then just to kind of take care of some of this like dead space around the patterns that I stitched, I just used some black rickrack, also from Hobby Lobby. So I'll just take you through these in this top row. Like I said, I don't have both pieces here, just the top row. The Halloween Rules is the center of the top row, and then the rules just kind of lay to the right and to the left, and then below it I have another banner that goes with it. This is Visit a Haunted House, and Howl at the Moon is the last one on this piece. So this was a super fun project. It was quite a few steps just to prepare and cut out the wood and sand and paint. and then painting these pieces and attaching them, and then, you know, finishing the actual cross stitch pieces. And like I said, there's so many. I think there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 13 patterns there that you can stitch. You can stitch it all together like this, or like I did, all individually. So anyway, this is one of my favorite pieces. I love, this is the first full year or first full season that I've been able to, that I've put it out, because I just finished this, I think last year, right, like 4 days before Halloween is when I finished it. And I was really happy with how it turned out. But I will pop in that footage here of how I actually made this, and some pictures of it in my dining room. Okay, so the next thing that I will share is not cross stitch related, but it is crafty. And the inspiration for this project came from a Grand Road magazine. And so if you've ever purchased anything from Grand Road, they're a lot like Pottery Barn in that the items are pretty expensive. And I actually, this was probably several years ago now, that I was flipping through here. I really, I like to look at the Halloween magazines that they put out. They have a lot of cutesy things in here and scary things. I'm more of a not so scary Halloween decorator, but nevertheless, I still love to just flip through these pages. This is this year's that came out. If you ever purchase anything from Grand Road, they automatically put you on their mailing list. So I get these magazines all the time, and I just love to flip through them. But one year, several years ago, there was a sign that was included in one of their Halloween spreads, and it was a picture of this wooden 31. This is just a screenshot picture of that. I don't have the actual magazine anymore, but this was $70, and it was literally just a wooden 3-in-1 with a little spider that was hanging down. And I loved this, the look of this. I loved the colors. I'm very much a traditional decorator when it comes to all holidays, really, but especially for fall and Christmas. I love red and green, and I love orange and black, and also purples and greens and things for Halloween. But this really spoke to me. And so I don't know if a lot of you guys may know this already if you followed along for any length of time, but my husband does a lot of woodworking. He's made a lot of our tables and things over the years here, and he's got a lot of scrap wood out in his building where he does all of his woodworking. And that year I decided that I could make this a lot cheaper than buying it for $70 from Grandin Road. So that's exactly what I did. And here is my take on that. So I will get up close here. So I believe this is just, I want to say oak. It's made out of oak wood. So I used his scroll saw to cut it out. I had one of my sons help me cut it out. Actually, I'm not so good. I know my way around the skill saw, or I'm getting this mixed. I think it's the jigsaw or skill saw. It may be the same thing. I don't know. But it's one of the saws out there that I cut out all the Peanuts characters that I have done over the years. And I'm pretty good with that saw, but the scroll saw is a little bit more intimidating. So I'm sure that Jonah or my husband helped me cut these out. But I just took a pencil on just a piece of wood and just kind of used the picture in the image in the magazine as a guide. And to trace out, I just kind of sketched out how I wanted the 3 and the 1 to look, you know, with this being the inspiration. And then they helped me cut it out, and I painted the 3 black. And again, I just took a pencil and kind of followed along with the lines of the spider web that they had on the picture there. And painted those with white craft paint. And then the little spider, this came in a pack of spiders. These are like fuzzy spiders. They're really kind of creepy, but I really liked the shape of them, and the size was perfect for what I was going for. And I just used hot glue to hot glue a piece of string on the back side of the spider here, and then again here on the underside of the 3, like the picture, and it worked out perfectly. So that was the 3, and then the 1, again, I just painted orange, and then I came back and just used the paintbrush, the bottom side of the paintbrush opposite of the actual brushes, to just dot on these polka dots here. So this is how it turned out. And I love to bring this out every year. It's so fun and something different. And the whole project, again, on Grandin Road was $70. And I only spent, I think, $6.99. And that was for the price of these spiders that I found on Amazon. So I was really happy with this DIY. I do have a picture of the magazine printout that I had and mine that I made side by side, so you can kind of see the differences there. But I think I did a pretty good job with it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then so that's this project here. Next project I finished and fully finished is this pattern by Teresa Kogut. It's called Moondance, and it's full coverage. The black is actually, you stitch it on black fabric, and so this is the part that's unstitched. The picture actually forms when you stitch the background. So I actually have already given away this pattern, but this is just a screenshot of the pattern cover from that I Googled just to show you what that looks like. And here is my fully finished. So I, again, had this one professionally framed from Hobby Lobby, and you can hang it. I just lean it, or I have a stand that I sit this in so it stands up. And so I stitched this on a black Aida. I want to say it was 16 or 18 count Aida, and I didn't make any changes. It was lots and lots of stitching. I absolutely love the coloring around the moon. It's just so cool how you stitch the background and the image appears that's like opposite on the fabric. So just to give you a little closer look, this was a lot of stitches, and it took me a long time to finish. This has been a few years ago that I finished this one, another early one back into my cross-stitch days from taking that hiatus prior. So yeah, I jumped in with both feet first, and this is pretty much a full coverage. So I don't know that I'll stitch another one like it, but there are a couple, I think, like this that she has put out. And but I don't think I'll stitch anymore. It was a lot. It was a huge undertaking, but I do love this one, and I'm happy that I had it professionally framed. So again, this is Teresa Kogut Moondance. The next one that I'll show you is another one that I had professionally framed at Hobby Lobby. So this one is The Boys Are Back in Town. So this one, actually, this is the actual pattern that you can purchase, I believe, from Just Another Button Company. If you go out there and just search for this pattern, what you do is you purchase the buttons that go with the pattern, and then they send you the pattern with the buttons. So that's where I got this. I used, I want to say, all the called for. I could have probably swapped some of these out, but I think just because these are highlighted here, I've probably used all of the called for. I stitched mine on, I want to say like a chalkboard Aida, and I absolutely love how mine turned out. I decided to stitch it with, sorry, there's something on this glass. To stitch it on this black, just like the pattern, but then have a purple, this bright purple as the mat around this frame. And I chose like an ornate frame from Hobby Lobby. And I really, really, really love how this turned out. The buttons are everything. This ribbon spider web is really cool. I love these long stitches here in the mummy that are just layered and over top of each other to make it look like the mummy wrapping there. And all these buttons are just so, so cute. Their faces. I just love everything about this. The purple is so awesome. I love this color of matte frame. This is one of my all-time favorite pieces. So the next one that I will show you is another Teresa Kogut, and it is out of this Hello Halloween book that she has. It's still available out there. If you just search it online, you can find it pretty easy. I decided to stitch part of the sampler that's here on the cover. And so I had an idea that I wanted to stitch all of these black cats and finish them in a tic-tac-toe board. So that's what I did. I started on this fabric here. I want to say this looks like maybe a Lugana. I'm not sure the count, I apologize. It's just like a cream colored Lugana. And I stitched this first cat with just 2 strands of black. And when I finished it, you can see that it's just not really solid. And I wasn't happy with that. And I didn't want to just get rid of this first one that I had stitched. So I decided to make it into an ornament. So before I moved on to the tic-tac-toe board and finishing that project, I fully finished this one as an ornament. So how I did that was I took I mounted the stitching piece on some like batting, just like thin batting, and then on this like wooden disc. And then the same with the back. So I covered it in this Halloween fabric, and it's also lined with the batting. And then I just sandwiched those in between these this pack of ornaments that you can get at Christmas time at Hobby Lobby. I spray painted mine black. I think they just come in like a wood color, just an unfinished wood color, so you can paint them any color that you like. To hang it, I just put on, I just added a black satin ribbon with a knot at the top. And I had some ribbons, Halloween ribbons in my stash. This little black and white ghost ribbon, just a plain orange ribbon, and then the spider web ribbon. And I just tied those together and then kind of spread out the loops, and then there's actually some hot glue back here to kind of hold that in place like that. And then I just left longer tails here. But I really like how it turned out. I'm glad that I didn't just throw this away because I wasn't happy with the coverage, because I do think it's super cute and would be really cute on a Halloween tree. And I feel like the ribbons go really well with the backing fabric as well. So that was kind of an unexpected finish. as I started this project here, and I'm glad that I went ahead and saved this one. So the actual finished project is here. So I did finish all of the cats, and I found, so you'll notice in this pattern, there are 5 cats here, and there's 9 squares. So this is a tic-tac-toe board from Hobby Lobby, and I got the idea to just stitch the cats and place them in each of the squares here. So here's the 2 lanterns. Here's these with the 2 gray star wands. These 2 are the same, and these 2 are the same. And I believe there's only one of this one. So that's how I decided to finish it, to get 9 cats total. But this, like I said, this tic-tac-toe board is from Hobby Lobby, and I spray painted it black. And then I actually have some footage that I shared on Instagram of me finishing this that I will pop in right here, so that you can see that from start to finish. Fun project. I love how it turned out. I did a Christmas one similar to this with some reindeer that you guys have probably remember seeing if you have followed along any length of time. But this is also a fun one to put out at Halloween. And again, I love the black and white with the pops of orange. So really fun finish, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. So the next one that I'll share with you is by this designer, Abbie Sue Designs. This is her Instagram page information. She is no longer selling the Coraline pattern that I know of, but if you message her, I've heard that others have been able to go ahead and purchase that through her. Like, I don't think she has it out on her website to purchase, but if you message her, I think that she will allow you to purchase it from her. And then it's just maybe a digital pattern if you're interested in also picking up this pattern. But if you don't already know, I'm a huge Nightmare Before Christmas fan and also Coraline fan. And so I wanted to stitch something and include Coraline with our decorations at Halloween. So again, I found this pattern here from Abbie Sue Designs, and I stitched it on an Aida. I want to say this is 14 or 16 count. I'm not sure of the color. It was just like a darker blue-gray color. I'm not sure where I got it from. It was just a mystery fabric. But I stitched it, and then the pattern itself actually does not call for buttons or these freckles. But so her face is just blank. I think that's a lot of the, for the designer, that's her style, where she has a lot of characters where the face is just blank. But I wanted to add buttons and freckles, like the doll in the movie. So if you've seen the movie, there's a doll that YB, Coraline's friend YB, finds that looks just like her, and the doll looks very similar to this. And so I wanted to, I had a fully finish in mind that I wanted it to look like the doll, and then also include pieces from the movie in the framing. So I framed this myself. I think I got this frame off of Amazon. It's just an oval frame, black frame. And then I added all these pieces that reminded me of elements from the movie. So some buttons here, I just hot glued those on. Like I said, I did French knots for her freckles and added just 2 buttons here with just some black floss. This was all the called for DMC that I used. Lots of back stitching. This key I found on Etsy, and these stickers I believe came with the key, just stickers that were included in the packaging. So I thought those were cute and added those. This little sign that I added here was a screenshot from the movie from my phone. And then I just printed it out on my photo printer and cut it out. So this is the actual note that YB puts in. So he gifts the doll to Coraline, if you're not familiar, in the movie, because he found it with his grandma's things. And inside the package, he included this little note. So, and then this spider web here. I made this from hot glue that I laid out a piece of wax paper and then traced this frame. So I would know how wide the frame was. And then I came back, like I put the wax paper on top of the frame and just kind of traced along. And then I put the wax paper down on the project table, and with a pencil within the lines, I just kind of drew out how I wanted the spider web to look on the frame. And then I took some the hot glue gun and I just traced along those the sketched lines that I had drawn. And let that dry, and then I peeled it off and was able to then hot glue this down again to the frame. And I just love that effect and how it turned out. I really love all these elements from the movie here. I do have another finishing video that I had posted in a reel form on Instagram. If you're not familiar, my Instagram is home on the ridge. That's home.on.ridge. But I'll pop that in here so you can see, especially the part with the spider web, how I made that and how this fully finished came together. So this finish is this pattern is by the Witchy Stitcher, and I stitched this on just a gray, I want to say 14 count Aida. And if you're familiar with this pattern, it's called the Universal Monsters Sal. It was originally a Sal that came out. I didn't stitch it as a stitch along. I came across this pattern later. But what I really loved about this is we are huge fans of the Universal Monsters here. It's been part of our tradition at Halloween, on Halloween night, especially when the kids were a little younger. We would take them trick-or-treating and then come back to the house and make popcorn or mummy toes, the little sausage dogs with the crescent rolls, and we call them mummy toes, and other fun Halloween themed foods on Halloween night, and watch black and white Universal movies. I really liked those, because especially when the kids were younger, because I didn't have to worry about language or gore, but it was still fun for them because they got to, watch a scary movie on Halloween night. And so it just kind of became a tradition for us. And so that's why this pattern really spoke to me. If you are familiar with the pattern, it's these rooms here that you can stitch as they are charted, but there are also other monsters that you can include. So, and then you can stitch them, the size of each room is the same. So you can basically make your house look any way you want it to look. So I changed mine up a little bit. All of these in the center here are just as they are charted. So is this one and this one, as well as these two. The ones that I changed, I think I changed the order of how the rooms were. And then this one, there's a Facebook page out there for the Witchy Stitcher Universal Monster Sal, that you can join and go and look at all the other previous finishes that are out there for this pattern. And a lot of the members in the community came up with their own monster rooms of monsters that they really liked but weren't initially included in the pattern. And that's what this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde That's where that one came from. So I really love that one. That's one of our favorite ones. And so as soon as I saw that, again, I cannot take credit for this one. But as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to include it. I just loved it so much. But I'll just kind of get up close so that you can see all the details. There's just so much detail in these little patterns. And I just love all the little elements that were included, especially this entrance. Like you're literally walking into a movie theater with all of these old monster movies playing. And that's why it reminded me of watching these movies with our boys at Halloween. This room is actually really special because my son Jonah charted this for me. This is not the way the Wolfman was included in the pattern, but the chart was different. And he was able to just take some of the inspiration from the Facebook page and also from the pattern, the original pattern, and designed this room for me. And I stitched it as he charted it. So I really love this room as well. But this is actually a house that I made. It's kind of hard to show you here on camera. But the original pattern calls for you to stitch the outside of this mansion that houses these rooms. And when I finished these rooms, I was just kind of burnt out, to be honest. I just didn't want to finish it. So I came up with a creative way to still make it look like a haunted mansion or an old movie theater, but just have a different spin on it versus stitching all of the outside of the house. So I have a process video here that I will pop in that will kind of walk you through the process of how I made it, and then I'll come back and finish talking about the final details of this piece. So I really enjoy getting crafty and making things out of wood. I've showed a few pieces today where that is probably evident. I really, not only do I enjoy the process of the stitching, but I also love to really get crafty and make things out of wood and really combine both crafts. But one thing I didn't talk about is this up here in the bell tower here is Igor. That was also one of the patterns that was included in her original cross-stitch pattern from the Universal Monsters Sal. So I stitched him. These windows that I included here are actually dollhouse windows from Hobby Lobby that I spray painted black and added here. And then this is kind of a 3D or 2D, I guess, shape here with the house shape. And then for the backing, I just did I mirrored the same shape as the house. So I drew this out as you saw in the video, and I added this fencing. This is also dollhouse fencing that I cut down from Hobby Lobby that I cut down and spray painted black and added those. I also added some at the top there. And then this stitched piece is actually sitting in an 8x10 frame, just a standard 8x10 frame. And you can actually see the frame right here. And then I just built the house over top of it and used a lot of wood glue to hold everything together. But this is super fun. I get a lot of compliments on this when people see it. I love it. I think it turned out really cute and just a different take, like I said, than stitching the entire outside of the mansion or movie house, movie theater from the original pattern. So one last look here. I really like how this one turned out as well, and it's a really super fun piece to display at Halloween. So this is a fully finished that I did last year. This pattern is by Brianna Lentz, Lentz. You can find it free, as I said, on her website online. It's a very quick stitch. I chose 18 count Aida in the color Pickled, and finished it in a couple of days, and then found this white frame at Hobby Lobby, taped it off, and spray painted the black striping on it. I carried the striping on all four sides as well as the back to finish it off. And this is a really quick and easy and super fun pop of color to add with our other Halloween finishes. So I do have some footage from a reel that I made when I was doing the finishing that I'll pop in here so you can see that process as well. So last but not least is this pattern by the Victoria Sampler called Trick or Treat. And this one I came across and was really drawn to these little trick-or-treaters here. I just love Halloween and trick-or-treating. It reminds me of being a kid, and here on the back here, the designer shares, her take on this sampler of why, the trick-or-treat, her memories from being a child, and why it means so much to her. And it really resonated with me. And I think that's why I loved the pattern all the more. But instead of stitching it all together here, there's a lot of specialty stitches in this. But I decided to just stitch these two little trick-or-treat scenes and finish them individually. And here are my finishes. If you have followed recently, you've seen these, I think in my last Flosstube. They're so teeny tiny. They fit in the palm of my hand here. But they are just the cutest things ever. I love them so, so much. So I stitched this on an unknown 32 count Lugana fabric. I may have the details in my last Flosstube that I shared about these. I can't remember offhand what the color of this fabric is called. I apologize. But I stitched these. I basically just looked at the pattern cover from the model, and I kitted up the colors with DMC floss that were similar to what was charted or what was in the picture. So I used all of my own floss that I had on hand, but it was all DMC. So I stitched the patterns exactly as called for, other than the floss. I think I may have changed the colors of these houses as well. Now that I'm looking at it, did I make that change? Oh yes, so this one, you can see this house was brown and I made it gray. And I think these are the same. And I think the reason I did that is because I actually just grabbed the wrong color and stitched it, and I wasn't about to start picking that out. So I just went with the flow and made it work. But I absolutely love these. One other change that I made, I'll point out, I just noticed here on this one, it calls for a little kid dressed as a devil, and I just don't like to stitch devils. So I changed that to a little dinosaur. All three of my boys have been a dinosaur at one point in their lives trick-or-treating, as well as our grandson has had a fondness for dinosaurs. And so I just changed that little devil into a dinosaur and stitched him all green and kind of changed up his little hat to look like a dinosaur. So those are the only changes that I made. I really, really love these. They're just the cutest things ever. I filled them with the walnut shells, the crushed walnut shells, or lizard litter. Some people say that I got it from the pet store. But they're so squishy. I wanted them to feel like, you can kind of hear that. They feel like bean bags, like the toss across bean bags. That was kind of what I was going for when I finished these. The back, I just used some flannel, like fall flannel fabric that I had in my stash. And then I glued I just used fabric glue and glued this teeny tiny rickrack to cover up the seam there. And that's from Hobby Lobby. This fabric, I think, came from Joann's when they were closing, and I picked up a bunch of Halloween fabric before they closed. But yeah, these were so much fun. I definitely want to get some more of her patterns. She has a lot of them out there, not just for Halloween, but also for Christmas. They're just so darling, and I love them so much. So I anticipate more of these teeny tiny finishes in my future. But for now, they just sit in this little basket in our living room during the Halloween season, and I couldn't be happier with them. I just love them so much. So now I will take you through and share with you my current project that I'm working on now. I've talked about it in the last few Flosstubes, but I will end this here. Hopefully you enjoyed everything that you saw today that I shared for my past finishes. And I'll pop in some footage here that I've pre-recorded of the current project. Just checking in on this project that I'm working on. It is the Halloween calendar cross-stitch pattern by Tiny Modernist. I had originally seen this pattern being stitched by Adelaide from Adelaide Stitches. Last October, she did like a daily challenge where she stitched 1 block a day for the month of October. So by the end of the month, she had all of the calendar finished. I think ahead of the October challenge, she had stitched the border, and I believe she stitched the Happy Halloween. So she had like the base of the pattern done. And then every day she came in and filled in a block. So October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, etc. until she got to the end of the month and completed the calendar. She's since framed her piece and has it hanging on her Halloween wall. I'll link the first video of that series from last year that she shared. And she's also going to be doing another challenge this year, I think also with another Tiny Modernist pattern for Halloween. So if you're not already following Adelaide, go check her out. She's really fun to watch. So this project for me is inspired by her. And you guys, if you followed for any length of time, you know that I had started this project shortly after last Halloween season. And I didn't get very far. I knew immediately when I saw her stitching this that I wanted to try something a little bit different. And my idea was to stitch each block individually and then turn it into an actual advent calendar where I could either flip the days around or, put the days on something to do with like magnets or something like that, where I could just create my own advent calendar that we could, that would be interactive throughout the month. So that was my initial idea going into this. And I had started stitching them individually, like I said. And I think the last time I shared this project with you all, I had gotten all the way up to day 6. So I had stitched the cat and the candy corn, the moon and the bats, the haunted house, the wolf man, and this bubbly cauldron. So after I recorded that Flosstube and uploaded it for you guys, the very next day I started stitching day 7. And I realized that it was September 7th. Whenever I had completed that block. And so I, again, was inspired by Adelaide and thought, I could do something similar that she did and try to stitch 1 a day throughout the rest of the month of September. And then by October 1st, I would be finished stitching this calendar and would have all of October to fully finish the project. So I have never really done anything like that. I'm not really even sure how many stitches there are per block. I know this one right here that's full coverage is over 1,000 stitches. So these are 2x2 squares. If you stitch them on, I believe 16 count is what I'm stitching it on, and I'll share that information with you all in just a minute. But mine are 2x2, so that's a lot of stitches in a little 2x2 square. So I wasn't even sure that I could accomplish that, but nevertheless, I completed this day 7 on the 7th, and then I completed day 8 on the 8th, and I did that for about 3 days and realized, okay, I can do this. I may be able to pull this off. So I reached out to my friend Emily at the Shady Grove Stitcher, and I was sharing with her after I completed day 7. I shared that with her in 8, 9, 10, and just one-on-one with her until I could build up my confidence to actually know that I could finish this before sharing it with all of you on Instagram. If you are not following me over there, I do share a lot of things on stories, real time from what I'm working on. So my handle over there is home on the ridge, home.on.the.ridge. And I think I had completed a full week before I decided to start sharing the daily squares on the day after that on my stories. So if you guys follow me over there, you got to see some of that. And then my last post, I had done like 4, the 24 through 27. I had started working ahead. And now I've only got 4 more to go. So today is September 25th. And like I said, I've worked ahead and I'm working on day 28. And this is as far as I have gotten on day 28. So it is the little books. If you can see that, it says magic, potions, and spells. So it's just this little stack of books, and this is my progress so far. So I'm stitching this on, I want to say this is Haunted. This is an Ada. I want to say it's 16 count on Haunted. And it's a darker blue than what shows here in the model, but I really like the way the whites pop on here, and the colors just look really good. I think it was a good choice in the fabric. So that's where I am today, and I'll take you off the tripod and just show you all of these that I have finished since you've last seen them, and that'll bring you up to speed on where I am with this project. Okay, so starting at number 1, this is the Black Cat and the candy corn. This pattern is wonderful as far as the shading on the colors. There's a lot of color changes, but when you finish them, when you finish the blocks, they just come to life. And I really love the pops of orange and green and yellow. So I really, really have enjoyed stitching these. Very, very cute. Again, these are 2x2 squares on this 16 count. Little mummy, so cute. And like I said, I stitched all of these on the actual day of September. So September 11th and 12th, 13th, etc. And it was really fun. I mean, there were days when we had a lot going on, and I stayed up really late into the night to complete the goal. But I did it, and I'm so happy that I did it. When I came to this one, I actually started to stitch. I anticipated this one being tough to finish because it is a full coverage block. And so I think day 12, I started to stitch this one, and I would just stitch, about this many rows each day leading up to the 15th. Until when I got to the actual day of the 15th, all I had to do was fill in the 15 and finish the eyes and a little bit of stitching up at the top, and I had completed that one on the 15th. So that was a lot of stitching. Like I said, it was just over 1,000 stitches. 16, cute little Frankie, the candles. Each one of these were just so much fun to stitch. Sorry, a little fuzz on that one. This one's super cute. They all just have so many different, just the way she shades, she uses the color changes to shade, make the shading. I just love it. Some of these are out of order here. This one was a booger to finish. There's a lot of different oranges in that jack-o'-lantern. And this one is like long stitches. It was really fun to do. I like how that looks 3D with the long stitches. So that is where I'm at today. Like I said, it is the 25th of September. And I just have 4 more to go. And then whenever I finish, if you watched my last couple of floss tubes, I had decided to finish them in this this shelf, this haunted house shelf from Michael's. I have actually placed an order for some wooden blocks. I know I could make them myself, but there's a website out there called Woodpeckers, I want to say. I'll leave the information in the description box below. But you can get any kind of shapes, wooden shapes, cut for you in bulk and any size. So I chose to do, like I said, these are 2x2 squares. So I chose to do just a 2x2 block, and I have measured these out, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fully finish it on this piece like I wanted, like I'd originally hoped to do, or not, just because not all 31 blocks are going to fit in here. So we will have to see what I decide to do with that. So I know that they're here in these bigger sections, I can fit 2 rows of 3. So there's 6 that will fit in here and 4 that will fit in here. So that's 10, 20, and then 4 will fit in 1 row here. So 21, 22, 23, and 24, 25, and 26. And then 2 on top, 27, 28, 31. So there's 3, if I counted that right on camera, that I thought it was 4 before, but I could be wrong. So there's a few that will not fit in here. And I had a couple of ideas to still try to go ahead and make this work. I could put I have some wood that's about this thick that I could paint black, and just create another shelf here to set them on the top, which I may do that. My husband suggested that I come off of the house and make an extension of the house, which that's a really good idea. The only thing that I hesitate about doing that is you can see these window cutouts here, like it's, windows to the outside. So I feel like that would lose some of that effect if I did that. But I don't know. I'm still waiting on those blocks to come in the mail, and once they get here, I will reassess and just see, make a decision on how I want to fully finish that. Like I said, if I just want to add another shelf on top and have them stacked there on the top, or create an extension of the house somehow. I don't know. We'll see. But I just wanted to, before I go any further on this project, I just wanted to show you guys where I was, just so you could kind of share in the process of the project, of where I'm at, and just share with you as we go along here. I will probably create a reel, a process reel of how I fully finish this and put it on Instagram. So you'll probably see that first before I upload this video. Maybe not, but that's typically how I do things. I share over there first. But I just wanted to, like I said, bring you guys along, and hope you enjoyed seeing all of this. Like I said, it's been super fun project so far, and I look forward to seeing how the final result turns out. So check back later, and hopefully I'll have it finished before Halloween. That's the goal. So that's it. That's everything that I have to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed everything. And if you have any questions about fabric or floss or any of the projects that I showed today, please just leave a comment and let me know what you liked. And I will see you guys real soon, hopefully with a fully finish on the Advent calendar. Take care and happy stitching.